The farm where Ed Gein lived and where much of the grisly evidence has been found has been leveled. It burned down one night. No one knows why.
This is the dark story of Ed Gein's trial, 10 years after being arrested, and what really happened to him in his later years. But first, here's a recap of Ed Gein's real-life crime scene and arrest.
What did you
find? Found in the stove where there had been some human bones burnt. The shoebox had the face mask of a woman. And by that time, the sheriff from Portage County was there. And when they lifted up that face mask, he immediately recognized it as Mary Hogan's.
When you say face mask, what are you talking about?
Well, he took the skin, cut it up at the back and there, and just peeled it off the face, the skin. The hair and everything was on the mask.
Along with the skin items, police found various dismembered body parts, including fingernails, 4 noses, and the genitals of 9 different women. Ed Gein readily admitted that he'd collected most of the remains from 3 local graveyards, which he'd started to visit 2 years after Augusta's death.
Gein admitted to digging up 9 to 11 bodies, most from this Plainfield cemetery. But to this day, no one is sure how many graves may actually be empty.
He told police he'd gone to the graveyards in a daze, looking for bodies that he thought resembled his mother.
When you dig these graves up, you were kind of in a haze too, is that it?
That's what I could just
And then one time you said you kind of realized what you were doing and you covered her up without taking anything.
That's right.
Ed also explained why. He told authorities that he had wanted to create a woman suit so that he could become his mother and crawl into her skin. Gein admitted to stealing from 9 graves and led investigators to their locations. He was arraigned on 1 count of first-degree murder in Waushara County Court. At his 1958 trial for the murder of Bernice Worden, Ed pleaded not guilty by reasons of insanity. The court agreed, declaring him legally insane and therefore unfit to stand trial. Instead of prison, he was committed indefinitely to Central State Hospital for the criminally insane. For more than a decade, he remained institutionalized, regarded as harmless but deeply disturbed, and was later transferred to the Mendota Mental Health Institute in Madison. Ed Gein's house was boarded up to preserve evidence, and officers removed all furniture believed to be related to his suspected crimes. A crowd of 2,000 people gathered to comb through Ed Gein's belongings in March 1958, and certain belongings, including his pickup truck, were purchased by traveling sideshows and circuses.
There will be an auction here Palm Sunday, but this house and the personal belongings of Ed Gein will be conspicuously absent. Call it an act of God or whatever you will. The main attraction will be missing, reduced to a mass of rubble by a mysterious fire.
The farm where Ed Gein lived and where much of the grisly evidence has been found has been leveled. It burned down one night. No one knows why. But since then, the ground has been bulldozed over and trees planted there, trying apparently to wipe out every vestige of the grisly tragedy.
In 1974, doctors judged Ed as competent to finally stand trial, and Gein was retried for Worden's murder.
Oh, he looked somewhat healthier. He was seemed rather dark and gaunt personage 10 years ago. He seems more like a middle-aged businessman at this time.
He took parts of the people home with him. He took the skin of women particularly. He decorated furniture with it. He made many other items out of it.
Ed Gein was found guilty, but still found to be clinically insane, meaning he would never serve time in prison.
When he first appeared before me, I got the impression somewhat of a puppy. He's a small, neat-looking man. And he stood there with a kind of a ingratiating little smile on his face. It was obvious he wanted to make a good impression on the judge. And if he'd had a tail to wiggle, I'm sure the puppy description would apply to it.
Ed Gein spent the remainder of his life in psychiatric care, where he lived quietly until his death from cancer in 1984 at age 77. The revelations of Gein's demented compulsions changed America forever, inspiring the third installment of Netflix's true crime series, Monster, and a slew of iconic horror movies. Gein's haunting infatuation with his mother has now become a trope for many demented horror characters. Take Norman Bates in Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho as a prime example. However, Bates wasn't directly taken from Gein, but instead from the imagination of novelist Robert Bloch. Still, there was a creepy connection. Bloch was actually writing his novel just 35 miles from where Gein lived. It was only right before he finished his book that Gein's murders came to light. Bloch was shocked at how closely Bates's actions and motivation resembled Gein's. Then there's Silence of the Lambs. Buffalo Bill's obsession with female flesh and making suits out of his victim's skin was a direct nod to Gein. And of course, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre was also loosely based on Gein, as it took the real-life body snatcher's obsession with human skin and used it to build its character, Leatherface, who hid behind face masks made out of human flesh. Other more conspicuous inspirations from the troubled man include body parts used as home decoration, the hint of cannibalism, and the mummified carcass of the family's matriarch sitting in the house. But not all fictionalizations of Gein have been a box office success, with PBS's spoof comedy, Ed Gein the Musical, gaining condemnation in 2010.
Somebody framed me.
Shut up and quit singing.
It's such a lonely feeling. It's such a lovely reeling. Surrounded by an old friend, and yet I'm treated like a rural mannequin.
In 2025, Charlie Hunman gave the most recent on-screen portrayal of Ed Gein in Series 3 of Netflix's anthology series, Monster. It garnered mixed reviews, with some praise and some criticism. Comment below how you think it compares to the real-life story of Ed Gein, and please hit subscribe to support Crime Collated.